The Science Center is a constantly evolving interactive museum featuring hands-on exhibits that are fun for kids of all ages. The 170,000 square foot attraction includes an observatory, planetarium, and one of the country's earliest 100 IMAX theaters. It opened in 1997. The city of Baltimore is on land that once belonged to the Piscataway and Susquehanna counties. The first European to chart these waterways was Captain John Smith, sailing from Jamestown, Virginia. After making his way up the Napster River, he described a red band of flag flanking a natural harbor basin. The grassy hill on our starboard side is that very same band of flag, recorded by John Smith more than 400 years ago. In fact, it was known as John Smith's Hill until 1788, when Maryland became the seventh state to ratify the Constitution. The people of Baltimore were so excited that they celebrated with a party on John Smith's Hill, a party that lasted for 3 whole days. Henceforth and forevermore, it has been known as Federal Hill, and today offers stunning views of the Near Harbor waterfront and Baltimore Skyline. South Baltimore used to be largely industrial, but today, instead of factories, shipyards, and waste refineries, we find luxury townhomes and condominiums. The Ritz-Carlton residences are home to some of Baltimore's wealthiest citizens. Best-selling author Tom Clancy, known for his novels featuring CIA super agent Jack Ryan, lived here until his death in 2013. Right next door are the pier homes of Harborview. This development, inspired by the Mediterranean region of Europe, features luxurious homes built on concrete piers extending hundreds of feet into the harbor. That's one way to make sure nobody ever blocks your waterfront view. The high-rise building is Harborview Tower Condominium. Its 24-story tower was built in 1992, adopting the names of a shipyard drive-in. The spectacular views of both the water and skyline, along with amenities including a swimming pool and fitness center. Harborview Tower offers its residents luxury downtown living at its finest. In addition to the middle waterfront developments, many residents have extensively rehabbed the older built houses already existing in the surrounding neighborhood. In some cases, gutting them entirely to create innovative open-floor homes. Another common upgrade is the addition of a rooftop deck, allowing for outdoor living space in an urban environment. As a result, the Federal Hill community surrounding the park is one of the most popular in Baltimore today. Residents enjoy a dynamic culinary scene as well as a vibrant night. One of the most unusual museums in the country can be found at the base of Federal Hill behind the waterfront residences. The American Visionary Art Museum. Housed in 3 repurposed warehouse buildings, this museum features one-of-a-kind works by outsider artists. In other words, artists with no formal training or schooling. The museum's collection includes a scale model of the Lusitania, made entirely from toothpicks, and a family of robots made from recycled metal and found objects. The gift shop alone is worth the price of admission. During the summer months, the Visionary Art Museum presents free movies projected on the side of their building as patrons relax on blankets and chairs, taking full advantage of the natural stadium seating provided by the slope.
Oh, that's me. Look at the photo. We got flowers.
This complex was originally built by Procter & Gamble in 1929 and used to manufacture soap products, including Tide detergent, hence the name Tide Point. From the water, we can see the three round silos known as the tanks. The murals painted on the tanks depict three local sports legends: Olympic swimmer Michael Phelps, Baseball Hall of Famer and Ironman Cal Ripken Jr., and former NFL linebacker Ray Lewis. In 2024, Under Armour relocated to their new campus at the Baltimore Peninsula. Also located at Tide Point is the Baltimore Immigration Memorial. According to the Baltimore Immigration Project, 1.5 million European immigrants arrived in Baltimore from 1841 to 1913, during only New York and Boston. Many of them first set foot on the southern soil right here, where the Vigo Railroad's locust point pier once stood. The railroad advertised special immigrant fairs in Europe that included steamship passes to America, as well as train fare to the western United States upon arrival. In 1634, two ships, the Ark and the Dove, carrying just over 200 English settlers and indentured servants, sailed up the Chesapeake Bay, landed at St. Clement's Island, and officially established the colony of Maryland. The colony's royal charter had been granted by King Charles I to George Calvert and named in honor of Henrietta Maria. The Calverts were a family of English Catholics and subject to persecution in England, so it was their hope to create a colony founded on the principle of English history. Passed in 1649, the Maryland Toleration Act was among the very first in the New World to require religious tolerance and limit religious hate. George Calvert had been named Baron Baltimore in 1624, and the title was inherited by successive generations of the Calvert family. And now you know the origin of our city's proud name. Sailors were routinely kidnapped at sea by the British and forced to Napoleon's first abdications in April of 1814 allowed the British to turn their full attention to young America. In the summer of 1814, the British fleet sailed up the Chesapeake Bay and began looting and pillaging towns and villages, damaging the country's economy and intimidating its citizens. In August, they attacked Washington, D.C. Inexperienced American militia defending the city were no match for battle-tested British soldiers. The capital was invaded. Public buildings, including the White House, were burned. Then, with the capital in flames and the government in chaos, the British set their sights on Baltimore. At that time, Baltimore was the third largest city in the nation. In addition to being an essential port, Baltimore shipyards also produced hundreds of extremely fast schooners used by the privateers. Privateers were essentially pirates, but they were issued letters of marque and reprisal by the United States, which deemed their exploits legal, provided a portion of the plunder was shared with the U.S. government. The American privateers wreaked havoc on the British merchant fleet and sent insurance rates through the roof. The British considered Baltimore to be nothing but a nest of pirates, and it was their intention to see the entire city, both public and private property, reduced to ashes. The only thing between the British bomb fleet and the city of Baltimore is Fort McHenry. On September 13, 1814, a furious assault began. Thousands of bombs, rockets, and mortars were hurled at the fort with a driving rain. Inside, over 1,000 men, soldiers and militia, defiantly held their ground. Dozens were wounded, and 4 were killed. Several times throughout the night, the British attempted to draw near. Each time, they were driven back by the British guns. The attack lasted for 25 hours. The next morning, when the guns finally fell silent, a young lawyer stood on the deck of an American diplomatic ship and nervously peered through his telescope. He had been asked by President James Madison to sail out among the British fleet under a flag of truce and help negotiate the release of an American prisoner of war. The negotiations were successful, but the British believed that he and his party had learned too much of their plans for attacking Baltimore, so they weren't allowed to return to their ship until just before the battle began. He watched the entire affair unfold from a position downriver behind the British bomb fleet. And that's where he found himself early that September morning. He knew the battle was over, but he didn't know he would. He continued to look through his telescope in the direction of the fort as the smoking clouds began. With 15 broad stripes and 15 bright stars flying triumphantly over Fort McHenry. Our flag was still there. It was at this moment that he knew the British attack had been unsuccessful and Baltimore was safe. He was so moved, so proud, and so inspired that he began to write down the words to a poem which became known as the Defense of Fort McHenry. That young lawyer's name was Francis Scott Key, and today his words, set to music, go by another, the Star-Spangled Banner, the national anthem of the United States. And now, we invite you to listen to the words of Francis Scott Key and imagine how he must have felt as he was at the moment he saw from these very words, the Star Spangled Banner, creating power over Fort McHenry more than 200 years ago. As we make our way back toward the inner harbor, we pass Lazaretto Point. A lazaretto was a quarantine station for maritime travelers. Its name derived from the biblical story of Lazarus. Lazaretto Point in Baltimore was set up in the late 1700s as a quarantine and disinfection station, and later a hospital for those afflicted with diseases like smallpox, cholera, and typhoid. Even after the hospital was gone, the name endured. In 1831, a 31-foot-high brick light tower was built. In the ensuing years, larger industrial complexes built on the site obscured the light, and the tower was torn down in 1926. A replica tower, seen here today, was built in 1985 by the Rupert Terminal Corporation, using the blueprints of the original, which were found in the National Archives.